Hello everyone, I'm Man Panda, welcome to my channel. It's another episode of You Think You Know, dot dot dot. Sponsored by Violet Daisy Games and Pink Tiger Games. Today, my special guest is Carla from Weird Giraffe Games. Hi Carla.
Hey everyone.
How are you doing?
I am alive right now. I'm in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign, so there's been a lot of stress and a lot of things. There's always like 10 million things you should do, and like I can't do that many things, so I'm always a bit worried about everything.
Yes, I totally understand. Yeah, it is Reef and Ruins. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about your current game that's on Kickstarter?
Sure. So yeah, Reef and Ruins. It's a crunchy yet approachable roll and write where you are a team of Hydra and Otter that are searching the ship ruins for treasure, enchanting it so it's worth more, and then also looking into the reefs. And the reefs are a spatial puzzle. And all the little sheets like kind of work together where if you do well in the reef, you'll find a pearl, and the pearl will let you get a free enchantment, and maybe the enchantment will let you put a number into the ruins.
Oh,
Um,
the combo
and
goodness.
yeah, all the combos.
I put the link in the chat if you want to go check that out and follow and back. Hello, Anna Maria. Thank you. Yeah, this is Decolonize Your Games. I got it from Coyote and Crow when they did those shirts. I don't know if they're still selling these or not, but yeah, I felt the color was matching everyone's aesthetic, so I was like, okay. Uh, Dewalt says, "Hello, Carla and Panda. Welcome in, Dewalt. If y'all have any questions, please put them in the chat as well." Dewalt says, "I backed the print and play after playing the free download. Love the game." That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Maybe we can do a stream where we actually show off and play the game together. But that is not the stream.
Yeah, like I even made a PDF where you could just like put in the values on a computer, so it's easy to like play with like friends over video chat. Um, yeah, I tried to make it easy.
That's so awesome. Now, Carla, when did you start Weird Giraffe Games?
In 2016, I believe.
Oh
Um,
wow,
yeah, so it's definitely been a while. I think 8 years
8 years.
at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. What made you
Um,
want to start this company?
um so I guess I was it's really me as a person that like ultimately made the company because I went to a panel on game design and there was like an 8-year-old child and he was asking about game design and I was like, oh, if an 8-year-old child can do it, so can I. Um, so then on the trip home from that convention, I made a game, and then I was like, what do I do with this game? And I found Jamie Stegmeyer's blog, and like it had so many articles, so I just made a giant checklist and went about making a company. And um, I also found like James Matthews' blog, and that was also another one where I was like, oh yeah, make a company. And I didn't actually like figure out that you could like just pitch games to people until much later on when I already had like my giant spreadsheet of tasks already like worked on and stuff. Um, so I started pitching game to others like later on, but like at first it was just like, okay, yeah, make a company, find a name, start doing all these things, make social media. Um, I'm very
That's crazy.
task list oriented.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how many games have you designed so far? Do you know?
Designed, it's probably like 50 or 60. Um, Honestly, like it's very easy to design a game. It's very hard to finish a game. So the number of games like you can actually go buy that have my name on it are like 5 or 6. Just because one, like I have to either pitch or decide to publish the game, um, and then finish it, and like the whole Kickstarter and manufacturing process and like freight can be like at least a year or so. Like usually I work on a game for like 2 to 4 years before like somebody can actually buy it. Um, so yeah, I have a lot of games that are just in the like early state or the like, oh, I have to decide that I'm actually going to publish it or pitch it. Or it's been pitched and it's with another publisher, and publishers take another 2 years. So at some point, there'll be more games of mine out there. It'll just take some time.
Yes. Yeah, Anna Maria is like, I love that you're like, I'll make a list and do it. I'll make, like, for me personally, I'll make a list and then I won't do it.
Yeah, it
I love
definitely.
lists.
You have to make a list of tasks that are easy to do, is what I've found.
Hmm.
Like it might have like 5 million things on it, but if each task is like a 5 minute task, it's much easier to do than like, oh yeah, published the game. That's that's one task that'll never get done.
Yes. Dewall says, how does, like, campaign where you have two separate games available compared to others that are only one game?
It is a weird thing because yeah, it's like, do you focus on both or just one really? I tend, like with this one, I tried to focus on Reef and Ruins because like it was brand new versus Wicked and Wise. It's just the deluxe version. Well, like not just, but the deluxe version, and there's actually an expansion too. Um, but like I'm trying to focus on Reef and Ruins in like the first half of the campaign, and then like push more like the Wicked and Wise Deluxe and Reflections in the second half of the campaign. Like I'm planning on announcing some stretch goals today, and then I could be like, oh yeah, there's also Wicked and Wise Deluxe. If you like Reef and Ruins, you might also like that. Um, so it's definitely a harder thing to do. Um, but I wanted to try it because well, Kickstarters are stressful, and there's like so much to do, and you can only do like a few per year. But if I wanted to get out more games, I have to do like more at the same time or go direct to retail with some. And direct to retail is more scary than just doing multiple games in the same Kickstarter.
Oh, interesting. Really? So Wicked and Wise is a very fun trick-taking game, played in teams. What can you give us a little spiel about that, and then how the expansion adds to the gameplay?
Sure. So it's a team-based asymmetric trick taker where one player on the team is the dragon who is playing the trick-taking game, and the other player is the mouse who is manipulating the trick-taking game. Both players have to adhere to the whole, like, if they have the suit that's led, they have to keep going. But the mice, they get the ability on the bottom of the card. So the ability might be like, oh, you can draw a gem card, and the gem is the trump, and you could just pass it to the dragon, which can like mess up the trick in the middle of it, because if you were short suited for the first card played in the trick, the dragon might just suddenly have the suit in the second card that they play in the trick, or they might suddenly have a trump, and it can change up things like that. As far as the uh, expansion, sorry, like my brain is crazy now because apparently Texas has 3 allergy seasons, and I was not prepared for the third one.
Oh
It's fine.
no.
But now my brain is all crazy. Um, Whatever, ragweed. Um,
Stupid
but
ragweed.
oh, it's the worst. I take so much allergy medicine nowadays, but also that messes with your brain too. So you can't win.
Yeah.
It's fine. The expansion adds in a whole new multi-suit deck, new treasures, and new goals. So Wicked and Wise is a 3-round trick-taking game where each round you have goals. The first round you have 1, the second round you have 1 or 2, and the third round you have 1 to 3. So there's new goals that are very specific goals, because there's the multi-suited deck. There's 15 cards that have between 2 and 4 suits. So this means it's a lot harder to get short-suited, but it is much easier. Like if you're the opposite team is trying not to get stars or flames, one of the suits, you can be like, oh, I'm playing in the magic suit and it's also a star, and you get to win it. So you didn't want that. So yeah, you can't play the gems as easily with these cards, but like you can mess up your opponent's goals, or like win things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to win that way. And then the treasures mess with the winnings. So like maybe your or like the opponent's gave you something you didn't want, one of the treasures will let you just discard something from your winnings, or take something out from the discard and put it into your winnings. So like, one of the goals is to get like 0, 1, or 8 of a certain suit. Well, if you just take it from the discard, you're one closer to getting that 8 of that suit.
Oh, that sounds so much fun. That sounds awesome. Let's say hi to some people that just popped into the chat. Welcome in, Cosmic B. Hello, good morning, Book Nerds, who's usually my co-host at this time of day. But we have this interview instead, and I think he has some stuff he has to take care of as well. Welcome to Opcost Games, and hello, Ben Osteen. Let me just shout out John real quick, aka Book Nerds. Go follow him if you want fun, lovely streams. He's doing retro video games right now, or PC games, and then he has, of course, his kitties, Comet, and Haley that might pop up onto the screen. But yes, thank you everyone for being here. Well, the brainchild of Anna Maria. This game is not the brainchild of Anna Maria. This game is the brainchild of Amy from Pink Tiger Games. But Anna Maria had the bright idea of taking You Think You Know Me, the game, and make them into an interview series. So we are going to flip over the first card and see what question it is. And my guest has the ability to veto any questions. But if you have any questions, please put them in the chat as well. So, have you built anything out of wood?
Yes. I recently built like a little tray thing for my crafts and stuff out of wood because I have lots of craft things. I also so I'm neurodivergent, so of course I have like 100 different craft things going on at any one point in time because I can't finish anything. But I made like a little tray so that I could put things on there and then hide like all the things that are like halfway done. Because
that's smart. I just put them in bags or in boxes and hide them away. I too have a lot of different crafts that I have started and haven't finished. And plus, my attention span gets shorter and shorter as we have more short form videos. So doing a big project is a little bit more daunting. So right now for me, I just need to, I have 3 tasks today. That's all I'm going to do. And I can mainly get those tasks done. But yeah, so... But yeah, that's really cool. Now, a crafter that I follow, she has this like, it's almost like a cafeteria like metal, rolly tray thing with different trays that slot in, so you can put different projects in different shelves and just take the tray out when you want to work on something. I was like, oh, that might be a good idea to have as well. But it sounds like you have.
I've seen those that are like all rainbow colored, and I really want to get them. But then it's like, oh, now there's more places I could store crafts. Will I just like make more things instead of finishing more things? I think it's a really good idea if you're not like me, where I would probably just expand the amount of crafts that I've stored everywhere.
That's true. That's true. Plus, on top of all the games that you have, right? So
yeah,
it's a little bit hard.
Well, I just recently, like a week before the Kickstarter, I moved into a new apartment that's 2 bedrooms. So one of the bedrooms is just all the board games and craft stuff. So like you don't just walk in and you're like, whoa, board games everywhere. Like literally, I had like Calyx with like another shelf on top because I have high ceilings. So it'd be like double shelves all the way around the apartment, and it was like getting kind of crazy. But now it's all in one room.
Nice. Ben says, I've made my place with hobbies being enjoyable while I pay attention to them. I try not to feel shame about not doing them while I enjoy a different hobby. Yeah, no shame. No shame. They're just gonna sit there and watch you, look at you until you finish them. I have a core crochet at that's in pieces for like 4 years. It's fine. It's fine. My friends like I don't even think I'm gonna get it anymore. But
it might come back.
I
did crochet and then I didn't do it for like literally 10 years, and then it just came back last year, and it was like, okay, yeah, I crochet all the things now.
Well, now I'm working on these because this is my little
my little
extra life incentive Octopus.
Mhm. Well,
Octopi.
and those only take like an hour or two, so like that's
Yeah.
the perfect time.
So
Instead,
much.
like don't take on shifts that take 6 hours,
Hmm.
2 hours, much more doable.
Exactly. Exactly. Are you the most proud of your business with draft games, or are you more proud of something else that you had?
Oh yeah, a business. Mainly because like at this point it's mainly me running it, and like I'm actually doing things, and I'm trying to like change the world basically. Like I try to work with a lot of diverse people and like incorporate a lot of viewpoints and make games like really accessible, and do like all those sorts of things so that like when people go to a convention they can actually see themselves in board games. Like if you come to my booth you could see yourself like on the covers of my board games. Like one in particular, I was getting I can't think of words because allergies. I was getting another person to like look at the artwork to make sure like it wasn't wrong. Cultural consultant. Uh, sorry.
Yay!
I wish I knew words better,
I
but
know, me
whatever.
too.
So I was getting a cultural consultant for one of the covers, and like she cried because
Oh,
she'd never seen somebody that looked like her on a board game, because it was a black woman in a hijab, and apparently like I'd never met her before. I got like hooked up with her through like another one of my consultants, and she actually had a hijab that looked like that,
oh,
and it
that's
was like, whoa,
awesome.
like legit,
Oh,
like it looked like her on a cover, and it's like, how often do you see like a black woman in a hijab on a cover? And I don't know, like that sort of thing like made me really emotional, and like that's why I like to do this because like if people can see themselves in the covers and like see games that were made by people like them, they'll just stay in the like, well, one, they'll feel good, they'll feel part of it, and they'll like stay in the like community.
absolutely, absolutely. That's absolutely wonderful. It's so sad that I think they were saying how there's more anamorphic animals than women on covers, and it's like, what the hell? But that is
Yeah,
just
like
lovely.
specifically sheep. There's
There's
more
more
sheep on
sheep.
covers.
Oh my god, that's
That
crazy.
was like, okay, whatever, sheep.
Yeah. Get out of here. We're gonna put women on color covers. Okay. Uh, do you care what people think about you?
Somewhat. The thing that comes to mind the most, probably because like we were just talking about like minorities and stuff, is like I'm always like scared that like weird giraffe games will get like too popular that like I'll start being treated like Mandy and Suze are in the board game community, and like, well, like okay, one, they're amazing, but also
Yes.
like they get doxxed and stuff and like
Oh
debullied.
yeah.
Yeah, like Suze is not treated well on Twitter.
No.
So
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I mean, they started in the industry when it was very like unsafe. Like I think we've done a lot better. But she's still getting, doxxed and she's, having her profile, copied and stuff. And it's terrible because they're amazing and they've done so much for the industry and for women and people of color, that it's I think it's just a few bad apples that are just, just making almost everybody else look bad a little bit. But I'm glad they stuck with it. So many people that
yeah,
started has stopped because of all this crap that's happening, and hopefully we are doing better. We're rallying around, people like them, and keeping them, in the fun and in the industry, and showing people that the industry board games can be for everyone. So yes. um
yeah, like I definitely agree with that. Like there was a Dice Tower East that I went to, and I was like at the airport at the same time as Mandy and Suze, and they were just like, yeah, just take the Uber with us. And so like I got to meet them and talk to them more, and like I don't know if I would still be in the industry if I didn't like know Suze and Mandy, because they
mm,
were just like so nice and also supportive. Because like at that same convention, like some weird things happened, and every time there was like I somehow like found Suze, and she was like, oh, it's gonna be okay, it's one person or whatever happened, and like she just got me through it.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Bookers doesn't have jury duty. That's awesome. But one more day to report, man. I'm so glad jury duty now is phone in. Oh wait, what's that?
Sorry, we have a thing that like shouts at us when somebody's at the door.
Okay, it's a package. It's more games, y'all. It's more games. Okay. Do you rock climb?
No, I'm like very scared of heights and I'm also clumsy. So like this would just be a terrible like two things together. Like I'd like look down and then I'd just fall. So
That
no,
makes sense.
not rock climb.
I've tried like a little bit, and I'm like, man, I'm just way too weak. I know friends who do, but I'm just like, dang, that's so awesome that they do. So what is your favorite thing to shop for? I'm gonna guess craft supplies because that's or board games. I mean, that's my favorite thing to shop for. I'm not a like a fashionista or makeup person. I'm like board games and craft tools. Yes, please, or maybe stationery. What's your favorite thing to shop for?
So I never was into shopping until I found these stores in my area, and they're for all the things that are returned to Amazon.
Oh,
Um, it's a weird game where like they start off one day where everything is $10 and then it goes down and down until everything is 50 cents. So you can go to these stores and there's giant bins and who knows what you'll find. Like one, I do find a lot of crafting stuff there, but like I also learned a lot about like society and humans, like all these things that you didn't know exist, like mostly for babies or like
mm,
things, and it's like which is this thing, and one of the fun parts about it is like when you find a thing that you don't know, like you just show everyone that's there, like whether you know them or not, and we all discuss like what could this thing be used for. It's like an anthropological like shopping trip where like if you're like really successful, maybe you spent $10 because everything was a quarter.
that's awesome. That's so awesome. Oh, are you gonna make this into a game?
I mean, maybe. Because well, it'd be really hard because like there's this whole like digging through things and
Mm,
like I don't know. It's a weird store, but it's pretty fantastic.
that's so awesome. I'm pretty sure there's one like in my county, but I haven't even checked it out. I know like people buy just random pallets of Amazon returns, and a lot of it is like open but not used or brand new and stuff. Or because if you return it, regardless if you used it or not, they can't put it back on the shelf a lot of the time. So, but yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
I think my
Great.
favorite thing that I got from there is I got for 50 cents a giant pterodactyl onesie. It was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I don't know if it fits yet. It's just been in my closet, but it was like 50 cents for either a onesie for me or a surprise gift for somebody.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Bookner says there's a store around here that's secondhand stuff, but it's geared towards crafters and has scraps of fabric, pieces of wood, random stuff that otherwise would end up in a landfill. Wish I was a crafter. You gotta send me that one. I'll have to go
Yeah, I
check it
would like
out.
travel somewhere to go there because like whenever there's like crafty stuff at this Amazon place, like I have so many like little crochet kits and just random things. Like I actually got into that like diamond art thing.
Oh yeah,
Like I always thought that it would be like the worst because like there's so many little things, but like if you start off with the little things like coasters and stuff, then it's much more acceptable or like approachable that
yeah,
way. So like I would probably go crazy at that like secondhand craft store.
yeah, yeah. It'd be dangerous. It really would be. The next one is, what is your favorite smell?
Probably cinnamon apples or pumpkin spice, I
Okay,
think.
so
Maybe vanilla.
this is your weather, this is your time of the year that you love, right?
Well, so usually I just stock up on enough that my house like, constantly smells like apple spice. So it's like everywhere is apple spice. And like we also had a sign on the microwave that it was like pumpkin spice season that we just never took down. So I mean, if you stock up all year it can be pumpkin spice.
That's true, that's true. Hello, Tangy Poo says, I'm currently working on a quilt. I would love all the fabric. Okay, so I have some fabrics I can send you, Tangy. Or bring to PAX Unplugged. Um,
Well, so one of my ideas recently has been to have a craft room at a convention. I've actually been
Oh,
talking with a couple convention organizers
yeah.
about having a craft room and then like making little craft kits. So like if you buy your ticket to go to the craft room, you just come in and you get the craft of like the convention or whatever, and it has like the yarn or whatever is needed and little instructions to like, oh, maybe it's to crochet a meeple or whatever. So like people would have like a little quiet safe space just to sit down and like you bring your own crafts, knitting something. Probably not quilting because quilting needs like a big table and people don't carry around a sewing machine always. Um, but
That
yeah.
I think I know Gen Con has a crafting room. There was another I don't Anna Maria if you're still in here. Was it OrcaCon that had a crafting room? There was one other convention where basically it was like every morning or something. You can go to the crafting room and everyone's doing their own crafts and sewing their own stuff, and then we can like talk to each other and find out about each other's crafts and stuff. And Gen Con this year was really fun because they had all these sewing machines brought in,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
you could purchase the sewing machines afterwards, but at a steep like 50% discount. But I made a fabric dice tray. You can make your own dice bags and stuff. So it was really cool. I think definitely it's gonna be like a trend to do that more, and I think that's amazing. I think that we should also add in maybe a
Yeah.
cookie
Like I
and
think
tea
that's really
exchange.
cool because like it was actually at Gen Con where me and Molly from Flat Out were like, oh yeah, we're both working on crafty games. Like we should make actual crafts and stuff. And like we were at Gen Con and didn't even know that there was a crafting room, so who knows?
Yeah, it's
But like that's so much at
upstairs.
Gen Con, like you can't know that
Yeah.
everything exists, I guess.
Yeah, and plus you were working booth. Both of you all were like busy booth working, so it's hard to get away. But yeah, yeah, I wanna. It's funny because I want a board game table, but I also want one of those crafting, table slash book. Was it cabinets? Have you seen those where it's a cabinet and then a table folds down and all your crafting supplies are stored inside?
I haven't, but like I feel like that is like a like I've seen like things that are like that where like the ironing board like comes down and if you just switch the ironing board for like a real table, I mean, that sounds great.
That's true. That's true. Yep, agreed. Let's do the next one. Okay, so on I think Bonds or Bonita's stream where James Hudson was on, they were talking about like we have very short attention spans. So like I was saying how I am on my phone sometimes when I'm watching a show on my computer or on my TV. And then sometimes it's like rude to other people because they think you're just texting or and then also like board games. When you're playing a board game and it's not your turn, is it rude to text or to do something else, as long as you don't take a long time thinking about, your turn when it comes back around to you. But there's some games with so much AP that I'm on my phone. But do you think it's rude to text when you're like board gaming or when you're watching
Um,
TV?
I think it depends. Like, so again, I'm neurodivergent, so like I kind of like it helps me to actually be on my phone, like playing some silly game because if I'm playing some silly game, like I can think better.
Yeah.
Um, so if it's just that and I'm actually like responding to the game, that's fine. But if it's just somebody like it's a non-emergency, like it's not about like somebody's children, like escaping the babysitter or whatever, and they're like just every time you have to tell them like, hey, it's your turn again. Please, can you just play this game or not play this game so that like it's not like twice as long. I think it's rude when it's not a like focus thing. It's just a like they'd rather be somewhere else,
Yeah.
but they're
Yeah.
here making the game longer. I think that's rude.
Yeah, I agree. Like you stop when it's the person right before you's turn so you can know what to do on your turn. At least that's for me. But yes, I agree. 100%. Now, let's go back. I know your most dreaded household chore is. I wonder.
Um, it's weird. It's making the bed. I
That's
like
not weird.
absolutely hate it. I was the oldest kid in my house, so I had to make everyone's bed. And it
Oh.
was just like, I hate this. Like, why do I have to make everyone's bed? And so, like, I won't even do it now. Like, my partner always has to put on, like, the sheets and stuff. And I'm just like, nope, I'm done with that. I did it enough and never again.
It's hard, especially one person. I think it's much easier if two people do it at the same time, but I totally understand. Especially the fitted sheet. The fitted sheet
Yeah.
always gives me trouble. Always gives me trouble.
Well, and like we have cats, and the cats want to get under that sheet and they pack and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like their best playtime of like the week or whatever when we change the sheets. And it's just like, yep, you're gonna get scratched. It's gonna be fine. They're gonna have a like they're gonna be so happy.
How many cats do you have?
Right now we have two. So
And what
yeah,
kind
we
are
have
they?
what?
What kind are they?
I have a stripy brown one and a Siamese Klaus.
Oh.
So
What's
yep.
their names, if you don't mind me asking?
Klaus and Calliope, who is also
Oh,
called Callie or Calzone or, whatever.
whatever.
She's kind of my muse, which is why, like, calling her Callie or Calliope was actually, like, spot on with it. Because, like, whenever I'm working, she'll, like, come and, like, sit here and just, like, support my work habits, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. Uh, are you a hugger?
Yes. Which is weird because like before the pandemic I never was, but then the pandemic happened and like now people like go and they're like, "Oh, do you want a hug?" And I'm like, "Yes, I want a hug. I haven't been touched by humans in like so long." Um so it's just weird what life experiences change about you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But still ask, everybody. Still ask if
Yeah,
someone
always.
wants to hug. Yes. But if you're in a convention and you see her, please do ask. I'm also a hugger. Book of Nerds says I'm a hugger and never initiate. So if you see Book of Nerds initiate, if you see one of us, give us a ask, and most likely I will say yes. So what conventions are you going to next, so that we know where we can hug you next?
So the next one I believe is Metatopia in New York. That's a playtesting con run by Double Exposure, who are like fantastic people. And then Board Game Geek in Dallas. And then PAX U in Philly. Oh, and then I guess kind of another thing I'm doing is I always run a like game design retreat in Maine, where
Oh.
like we're all in Philly, and then on Monday we just take a giant van and drive to Maine and stay in Maine for a week.
Oh, that's fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been
Uh,
trying to get Anna Maria to come, but like always something happens, and maybe next year will be the year.
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah. And plus, it's on the Office Coast, so it's
Yeah.
harder. Yeah. What makes you feel calm?
I don't know, like silence. Like if I ever get like stressed out, I just like I have noise canceling headphones and I just go chill out like in the dark. I actually have a bed tent. If anyone like has anxiety or anything or just like needs like an extra thing, like a bed tent is amazing. I got one during the pandemic and like I could just get in the tent and then like I'd be like in my bed, but it felt like I was on vacation because I was in a
Oh,
tent.
I
So
remember I used to do that as a child. I had a bed tent as a child, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should go back to that.
yeah, I mean, they're usually advertised toward autistic children, but like I'm an autistic adult, so it helps with that too.
Yeah.
And like the cats just love it. Like
Oh yeah,
they are in it like 24/7 since we got like the new one, and I will do a lot of things that will just like make my cats happy because it's just nice to see like somebody that's super happy in your house.
agreed. Hello, Deadpan. Buckner says I like these prompts. Well, these are cards from You Think You Know Me game from Pink Tiger Games. So that's why it's random. It's totally random. I kind of went through it a little bit, but not 100%, which is why my guests always have veto power. Okay, this is an interesting one. I know if you were immortal, you'd.
I would have less anxiety about getting everything done, I think. Because like I like one of the reasons why I actually get things done is like I think about like how I don't have that much longer. Like I have a lot of uh what are those things that happen all the time? Regular issues, or
Mm,
there's a better word for it. It's like I have like a heart thing and
mm.
asthma and
Chronic conditions.
arthritis. Yes,
Chronic
that.
conditions.
And so it's like, depending on the day, I might not get anything done. So like when I do have like a good day where my brain is there, like I am just like, oh, I have to get all these things done right now because otherwise they might never get done.
Mm.
Um, so if I was just immortal, like, would I be able to finish anything? I don't know.
I would see the thing is that I think I would learn more because you have more time, I guess, to make money or to I don't know. I feel like I want to be more of a student lifelong because I don't think like you would just basically be able to like just put money in and then have like money compound interest for years and years and years. But maybe not at the start. But I don't know. I yeah, I might have even more crafts than I currently do. Oh man. Yes, chronic. Yes, that's the word.
So what is something you would learn if you like were actually immortal? Because you said you'd be like a student learner. Like what are you not learning now that you think that you would want to?
ooh. I think languages are the hardest thing for me to learn. So if I was immortal, then I would have more time to like practice and live in different places, right? And just like understand language a little bit better. Um, because right now it's just like it's too hard. I have to do all this other stuff just to live, and then but yeah, I think languages for me, and languages open up a lot of stuff. I would say not even like just regular like verbal languages, but like sign language, computer language, all that stuff. My brain's just not really wired for it. But if you have enough time, you can train your brain to do stuff. So yeah.
Well, yeah, like, and that's a good point that you bring up about like learning like other things too. Because like, would you just like learn Italian, or would you also learn like all the like specific things about the culture? Because like each culture has all their words that are only for that culture, and
Yeah.
like to truly like understand what they mean, you'd probably have to like really learn about the culture and experience it. And I think that would be really cool. Like just identifying like all the words that are culture specific and figuring out why that culture like needed that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be so cool. Buccaneer says I would learn music if I was immortal. Well, you're already a good like guitarist. I guess you would just like pick up other instruments. Yeah. I mean, that's also, I feel like music is also a type of language because people do communicate in music in a lot of ways too. So, yeah. If you had a month to spend by yourself, you'd fill the time doing crafts?
I mean, probably a combination of actually getting like caught up on all my projects, because I have so many like, well, game design projects, publishing things, crafts. Well, I just moved and everything's in boxes still. Um, so all the things, and like I'm trying to I've been training for a 5K, and
Ah.
so like I'd probably like actually do that more often than I do.
For me, I get more stuff done if I'm with someone else. Like even if it's just like in the room and they're doing something else, I feel like I get more stuff. Like that's how I could study is I had to be with someone else studying as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tandy
like
said,
I actually often co-work for that reason. Where like I was supposed to have somebody come over today, where we just sit at my table. We don't really talk.
mhm.
We just like do the things. And then like whenever one of us is like, oh yeah, I need a break, then we go like walk around and play Pokemon for like 20 minutes, and then we get back to it. Um, so
That's
yeah, it would
awesome.
definitely be more productive with somebody else here. But like if I had no plans, like
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything, hopefully I would get something done.
Tanji would learn how to knit for a month. You don't need a month. We could probably teach you over a convention, a couple of days.
Yeah,
But
or
you have
like
to
just a video
practice.
or two. Like you,
Yeah.
well, if you want to knit well versus just knit.
That's true. That's a different thing. to learn to do something versus do something well. Like Book of Nerd says, I can play, but I don't know music theory well or composition. Which is interesting because you do very well playing without knowing those things. And sometimes it's like, yes, you want to know the basics so that you know how to break the rules, right? Versus you just, are like trying new things and they might not follow the rules, but it might be something cool that you made up because you don't know the rules. So, I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, this one's interesting. I know you think something is underrated. Like overrated, overhyped versus what do you think is underrated?
Honestly, like, I don't know because I don't look at ratings a lot. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I just do the things that I like because I like them, and like I've kind of like almost completely gone off social media and things, so it's like I just do things. Are they popular or not? I have no idea.
Do you think there's a game that not enough people are playing? Or should be like reprinted?
I really like Rebel Princesses. I just played that last weekend. But I think a lot of people are finding out that it's really cool because like it was announced at Gen Con. So that one. Somebody told me Cafe Barras, and that was pretty cool too. But I'm not sure that anyone thinks that it's bad. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how can you like not like Kids Table?
Yes.
Um, Dorf Romantic, but also like people like that. So it's
It
hard
has
because like, how do you learn about things if they're not like if people don't talk about them? If
that's
that makes
true.
sense.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, you would have like that's why like I guess top 10 lists are great is because you can find some stuff, but not great if it's all the same things on the top 10 list, which is interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if it's not like a specific top 10 list, then it's kind of like, oh yeah, these are all things that people know probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this one's a fun one. I know a strange thing that you own. What's the strangest thing that you own in your house right now?
I'm like, well, so like we just moved and I'm like looking around and I guess I have a lot of like bird stuff. Like I have metal ducks and like sandpipers. Um, oh, I have like a bunch of like giraffe art from like different countries and stuff. Um, and this like paper mache bird that I think was from the Dominican Republic.
That's
I don't know,
cool.
it's pretty cute. So, whenever I travel, I try to like get some sort of like art that's like giraffe or bird based for some reason. Also, the pandemic made me bird crazy. Like, I'm just gonna admit that. And I don't. Well, I know exactly why it happened. It's because I was alone. Like, I was like, so I was probably immunocompromised, so I was really scared. So I just sat home alone with my cats. And so like then I got them a bird feeder and then suddenly there's like 5 bird feeders and we're just like sitting there and they're meowing and I'm like responding back about like what the birds are and then I made 20 bird games and now I have birds everywhere in my house. Like there was like definitely something happened. Um but yeah, I would say that.
So like did you start collecting giraffes before Weird Giraffe Games or did you start collecting giraffes after Weird Giraffe Games?
After, definitely. Like I didn't even like well, like I liked giraffes, like just like you like animals and stuff. But I never started collecting any. Like I actually like the copy better, which is
Oh.
what the company name is about. But like it was originally like Okapi Games with like my name in it, and people didn't get it, so I went Weird Giraffe. And then people just started associating me with giraffes, and then I started liking them, I guess, or like acknowledging them more. I always like zebras better because stripes and horses and stuff. Um, so yeah, it's weird what like my brain will just start liking. Like, I made a joke once about how much I like dinosaurs, and then I ended up having a dinosaur wedding because I said it so much. It was like, oh yeah, dinosaurs are really cool. Like, my brain is weird, and it will just like latch on to things. So now there's a bunch of giraffes in my house.
Well, I got to play a dinosaur game that you were prototyping last year. That was fun.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was all the dinosaurs. I had to like think back because there was another dinosaur game that I had at one time. And it eventually went to fireworks, I guess. No, it went fireworks and then Roman architecture or something, which is
Wow.
fine. Publishers do things. Um, so will it come out as Roman architecture or will it like morph again? We'll find out. But like I always have to think like, oh yeah, what dinosaur game or what bird game? Because
What's
dinosaurs
it?
are kind of just like ancient birds.
That's
So we
true.
can just lump that all together. But all the
That's
dinosaurs will probably come out in 2025 if I like stick to my whole like I should finish the things task.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Finish the things task. That seems a more than 5 minutes task.
But
What's
it
the
takes 5 minutes to like stop my brain because like I think it was like last night or the night before where I was like, you know what? I have an idea for the way too many cats roll it right, and then I was like, no, shut it down. Work on something else. Just anything else. Just finish something else and don't like start another project. So if like every time I get an idea, I acknowledge the idea, otherwise my brain will hate me. And then like I make a doc and it has all the details and then I can get back to it once I finish something else. So 5 minutes to like tell my brain like, okay, great idea, good job on that, but maybe in 3 years.
It's kind of like dreams. Like I also have like card ideas I'll write down and then I'll forget about. But my issue is that when I go back to my notes, I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? Like I'm terrible.
Yeah, like there's so many notes where I'm like, this is a sentence. These are all like English words, but what do they mean together? Who
No,
knows?
no idea. No idea. Tanjifu's strangest thing is a blank ball jointed doll. Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think people use those for drawing purposes or for like making doll clothes, but that is very interesting. Dolls are also very creepy, so I don't know about that. What's the most dangerous thing you've ever done? I know you haven't been rock climbing.
No. I mean, I tend to be adverse to danger just because the whole clumsy thing. I mean, I've been on a helicopter,
Oh,
um, mainly because, like, well, in my mind, helicopters are way more dangerous than planes because, like, if a plane breaks, it'll still, like, glide, where, like, a helicopter might just
mm,
fall. Uh, but I think that's probably the most dangerous thing I did on purpose. Like, so I have narcolepsy, and I used to drive at night a lot, without knowing. Well, like, if I don't know I have
yeah.
narcolepsy, I don't know that it's super dangerous. Drive at night, and like, I once, spun out because I just fell asleep in the middle of driving.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so it turned out fine because I just like spun around all the lights. Like, there's like street lights, and I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like all of them. Um, but yeah, like now I never drive at night because who knows if I'll fall asleep. So
That's interesting. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for the lurk, John. Have a good lurk. Uh, with all your chronic conditions, are you a very good patient? Or
I mean, I try to be. Like, I also have a bunch of fears. Like, I'm afraid of needles and blood, and also, like, my veins are like baby veins. Like, literally, they're so tiny, and I have to go get my blood drawn, and I'll be like, hey, I have tiny veins. This is gonna be a difficult process. You're gonna need the butterfly thing. You might need to slap me. You might need to get the heating pad. Like, you'll probably have to get the better person. Like, you just have to like tell people this and they're like, oh yeah, right, and then they like start like hitting my veins and like slapping me and they're like, yeah, we do need the heating pad, we do need the better person. And it's at this point in time I'm like hyperventilating because like
they've stabbed you like three or
like I
four
get
times
so stressed
already.
out.
Yeah.
It's probably because of, yeah. Yeah, like, and I'll tell them like, hey, I'm gonna freak out, and so the best thing to do is just like listen to all these things. Like, I'm not lying when I need the tiny needle and stuff. And I've drank like 300 or 400 ounces of water, which is an extreme amount of water, but I like really want this to go well. And also I have to pee right now. So it definitely like needs to get done faster than later. And yeah, it's not the best. I freak out every time. And usually I need somebody to drive me home because I'm just like laying in a ball and they have to like drag me out. But yeah, like every 3 months. It's fantastic. I
Can you
guess.
ask for the same nurse? Because like I know there's some nurses that are amazing, or
Yes.
hematologists.
Usually I get my blood done at different places.
Ah,
Like I'm finally like I have good doctors now. It takes like forever to find like doctors that actually like listen to lady voices and understand like all the things because like it's actually surprising how many sleep doctors don't know what narcolepsy is. It's just
wow,
whoa.
that's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, it's weird. Like, well, there was this when I was in Alabama. Like every 3 months, I'd have to go in, and they'd give me this questionnaire, and I'd be like, "That doesn't apply to me because I have narcolepsy." And they just keep going down the questionnaire, and it's like we did the same thing 3 months ago, and then 6 months ago, and 9 months ago, and like I'm in like this weird, I don't know, like Groundhog Day of doctors, and like so I kind of get snarky sometimes. So that goes again to the like I'm not a good patient if you ask me the same questions and they don't apply.
Yeah,
It's just like why are we doing this? I have narcolepsy. Doesn't matter.
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Ugh, that's hard. That is really hard. Oh man. But your best year so far was.
My best year. The answer that immediately comes to my brain was like when I was 6, because I had a birthday party that had a pony at it.
Oh,
At the so like they took over the park and had a pony and all the other things. But my best year was probably 2019. Other than the whole like pony situation. Where in 2019 I got to travel so much, and also like Twitter was still working properly. So like I would meet people on Twitter, and then I'd be like, "Oh yeah, can I stay in your spare bed or on your couch or whatever?" And like I stayed in like so many locations, just like staying somewhere for a week and getting to know like the town and going to a convention probably, and then like flying off and going somewhere else for a week. Um, yeah, because like if
that's
you
awesome.
fly on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, it's usually like a tenth of the cost because like normal humans don't fly on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and also like when they do like the flight patterns or like all the flights, if they do the same like schedule every day, it's much cheaper even if nobody is on the plane.
Mm.
So yeah, if you fly like Tuesday, Wednesday, it can be like I got to go to Toronto for $200 round trip.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
and that
crazy.
was from Huntsville, which is like the most expensive airport in like America because of reasons. It's like super small, but there's like
Yep, the
NASA.
space station. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's things there that like, well, the government pays for most of the flights, so they're just like, yeah, government's gonna pay. They're gonna pay whatever. But I'm
Dang.
like, but I am not the government. So,
Yes, that's really cool
but
though. That's awesome. And it was right before the pandemic, so
yeah,
yeah. Now y'all
that's
know. Uh huh.
that's probably why the pandemic hit me so hard because like I went from
Oh
like I
yeah.
lived in Seattle for basically 3 months out of 2019, and then it was like, oh, I have to stay home all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so. Now you know on the board game streams of any kind, especially ours, that we always talk about food. So I have to ask, do you prefer tacos or burritos?
I'm gonna go like off book and say burrito bowls.
Oh,
Um, yeah. Well, I have celiac, so I can't have wheat. So it's just like making sure a corn tortilla is actually gluten free is just a headache when I could just be like burrito bowl. This is easy. It's gonna be something that's not gonna make me sick. So
okay, okay. So do you think burritos or tacos are also under the sandwich category?
I don't know. Like maybe a taco could be like an open face sandwich.
Oh,
Um, But honestly, like, is an open-faced sandwich really a sandwich? Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
like people call it a sandwich, but like you have to use a fork with it.
Well,
At
is it?
least with a taco, you can use your hand.
That's true. Is a burrito bowl then just a rice bowl? A Mexican rice bowl?
Yeah, I mean it's closer to a rice bowl than
A burrito.
anything else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know people out there are probably going to be like yelling at me, but they're not yelling at me in chat, so we're all good.
Yeah, I mean if people are yelling about whether a taco is a sandwich or not, you just have to know that their life is pretty good. If this is the thing that they're angry about, that's fantastic. I am so happy that that's the most stressful thing in their life.
Yes, agreed.
Like, good job. Your job is great. Your family is great. Whatever.
Do you like musicals? Do you watch or know about musicals?
Yeah. Yeah, I watch a lot of musicals.
Okay, so if you could live inside a musical, which one would you choose?
Um, I'm not sure. Like, my initial thought was Schmigadoon. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, okay. That was kind of a horrible one to be part of because so the two characters they're like having marriage issues. So they go off to this camp for that and then they get lost in Schmigadoon, which is actually like a musical. And so they're suddenly in a musical, but they're not part of the musical, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So they just have to deal with life as if like the woman character knows like what musicals are, so she's like, oh, okay, we have to do these things so we can escape the musical. So yeah, and like it has like really good actors and stuff in it, like from Saturday Night Live, I think.
Okay.
So yes, if you have not seen Schmigadoon and you like musicals, definitely do it. The first season are like the original musicals where things are happy, and then the second season brings in like the more darker musicals and stuff. So
Interesting. Interesting. How do you spell Shmigadu?
I think it's SCHM Schmigadoon. I'll have to like look at it.
I just put
right
something in the
now.
chat. I have no idea. So y'all will have to find it yourselves.
Okay, and it has an exclamation point. So
Oh,
it's SCHMIGADOON.
I spelled it right! Woohoo!
Yeah, so it has like Cecily Strong, Keegan Michael Key, and they're like the two main characters. And it's like, yeah, it's exactly as good as you would think it is with those two people. Well, if you like them, which I do, I think they're fantastic. And it has like Jane Krakowski, who is also I think on Saturday Night Live, and like Kimmy Schmidt and other things. Like, there's a lot of famous people, and they're all like I don't know, singing, but like the Keegan Michael Key character like hates musicals and he is just not happy with anything. But like sometimes he sings about it.
That's interesting. That's so interesting. Well, the person you'd most like to have dinner with, alive or dead, would it be one of them?
Probably not. It'd probably be my dad because he died like a number of years ago. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry about your dad dying, but that's cool that you would want to have dinner with him. What about someone in the board game sphere?
I don't know, Sue's would be nice, but like also I could probably have dinner with Sue's if I like the next time I'm up there, which I'm gonna be up there in January for OrcaCon anyway. Um, so like I mean that was like the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know, cause like usually like I try to get people to go out to dinner with me or like hang out in general. So um, and like the people that like I'm like not as familiar with, like I tend to be like really weird around. Like I was like super excited because like I think it was last Origins where like I was around Eric Lang and I acted like a normal person, and it was like yes, finally I don't like freak out and say weird stuff and or like Isaac Vega, like one time when I sat next to him and I didn't realize it, I just started like acting like a complete weirdo and just being like, "Hey, you're Isaac. Yeah, you're Isaac Vega." And I said that like 5 times, and it was like I didn't intend to do that. Like at that gamma, I was getting back into the whole like being humans with other humans thing, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down next to somebody and introduce myself, and it's gonna be casual, and then I'm never casual because I'm incapable of that. Um,
It's okay.
so like if I could have dinner with somebody and be normal, that would be like a caveat.
Both me and Anna Maria are going to be at OrcaCon, so we need to have dinner together.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there for a week after because I usually stay with Flat Out.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we should definitely get dinner.
Yes, absolutely. The next one is I know your favorite movie as a kid was when you were a kid.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh, that's
Because
a good
I
one.
don't think I was like properly screened on what movies I should watch.
I mean,
I
it's a
don't.
cute one. It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
well, it's more adult than like I probably should have had at that time, but you know,
Yes, that's true.
it was like one of 3 movies I actually owned because I didn't own many movies. I owned Black Beauty, which was a movie about horses.
Yeah,
Um,
it was so sad too.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was, and I like read the book as a child too, and yeah. And then Dragonheart. So you could probably tell, like, because I've brought up horses multiple times, I have a lot of games with dragons in them. No games with men in tights, though. So, I mean, that's, like, obviously a
Yeah.
dearth that I haven't gone into yet that I maybe need to do. I don't know.
Ooh, that would be fun if you had men in tights, but the princess has to save them instead of them. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. I could totally see a Men in Tights musical too, so there's that too. Now, are you very sentimental?
About the right things, I think. Like, some things I just don't care about, and other things I will, like, just cry. So.
Okay, that's good. About the right things. I like that answer. Um, now, how are you able to change the oil in your car?
I could probably do it. I've never actually done it just because my partner like can do it and he just likes that sort of thing, I think. Or like it's just easier to get somebody else to do it. Like it's not something that I am passionate about. But like if I had to do it, I don't like I think just I can go on YouTube and watch a video like 3 times and then I can just do it. Like
Yeah,
I gave
yeah.
myself these bangs after watching a video and it's like I mean, they're not that much worse than like if like a person actually did it. So
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of things you can go on YouTube and learn how to do. Welcome in, Bones John. Hello. If you like horses, there's a rare game out of print now in England called the Really Nasty Horse Racing Game. That's interesting. What's it
I don't know
about,
if
Bones
I like
John?
that.
I don't know. Yeah, really nasty horse racing game. That's interesting. There's this really fun like toy horse racing game where you stick the horses and then they mechanically go, and it's just some random order on whether or not who wins or not. And I love how Crystal Dax uses it to see who's the first player before playing a game. It's really silly, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Now this is going to be an interesting one. Are you organized person or are you messy? I feel like you're both.
It depends because like I
Yeah.
can be really organized, but then it usually evolves into chaos. Like I'll have my task list, and then like I'll have like docs that have things, and then there's 300 docs.
Yeah.
And so like it starts off with good intentions, and then it just explodes.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I can be organized about some things, like everything has a place in some places in my house, and then I'm just very messy about other things. But I'm more
yeah.
organized with other people's stuff. Like I can organize other people's houses, but I can't organize my own.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me. Like where my kitchen, there's like a place for everything,
Yeah.
and it should be in that place. But like in the craft room, like there's so many
It's free
things
for all.
everywhere.
Yep.
It's just so much easier to make decisions for other people, though. It's like, oh yeah, this is the obvious choice on where this should go. But like, will I put it in the obvious choice for me? Not always.
Well, then also sometimes the obvious choice becomes the unobvious choice when you try to remember where you just put it, but it was safe and the obvious choice at that moment. But now it's no longer the obvious choice when you're trying to find it.
Yeah, I just experienced that because like I put all my medications away, and then I went to a convention, and then I was like, okay, where are they all?
Oh
I have no
no.
idea. I had to go through like so many drawers because I knew that I put it in a drawer, and I was like, why did I do this?
Oh no. Bone John says the really nasty horse racing game is a horse racing game with dice, but you have to place bets on who will win, and you have a few cards each that will let you trip up the horses, jump on the course, or rearrange the placements at the end of the race. Oh, ugh, that's crazy. So that's a little bit too chaotic for me.
Yeah, BGG says it is show your true colors in this competitive game of bluffing, double crossing, and fun.
That's funny. If you could give $1 million to charity, what charity would you give it to?
Probably some sort of domestic violence charity. Because there's a lot of people out there that like, well, at one time I was in a domestic violence house. Well, like I lived in one of the houses that they have for like the women and the children that are like escaping and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's usually not a lot there. Um, so yeah, I'm actually like thinking of like how I can like give board games and stuff to them and like the right board games. But also like cat charities. Like I have way too many cats and I'm trying to work with like the local cat cafe to like just sell way too many cats there and then like they get to keep the profits.
That's
So
cool. Yeah.
both of those are conveniently also like board games would be a good thing that they could have.
Yeah.
Um, I just
Yeah.
have to like figure out all that. And also like there's like legal
Mm.
ramifications and stuff and I was told that I should like figure that out, but it's like I'm not a lawyer and also I'm tired and I need to find one to like tell me what I can and can't give away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think because because you're a company, right? So it's your inventory and stuff like that. Also, like I think you get tax breaks on nonprofit, but they have to be like a certain nonprofit. I don't know. But I've also tried to maybe I was thinking of donating clothes or games to like a women's shelter. But it's hard to find them and it's hard to
Yeah.
like get in touch with someone. It's almost like you need to know someone who knows someone to get in there, but then it's like if you were a woman that just needed help, it would be really hard to find the resource to
Well,
get the help.
it's supposed to be like because like the one I was in, like when you're escaping someone, if the shelter is
Yeah.
easy to find, then you will be easy to find. So like you have to be part of like the Whisper network to know who to talk to, and like then they like bring you to the next person and the next person, so that you're actually like you won't be followed. So
Yeah. I understand that, but I wish the first person that you talk to would be easy to find, if that makes sense. But then
yeah.
their life is in danger, so oh man, it's a crazy thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh do you have a boat? And if you did, what would you name it? Because people name their boats like really weird stuff.
Um, I guess I kind of have a dinghy. It's
But
not like a big boat. And it's inflatable. I also have a kayak. But
oh,
I'm learning to sail, and like at one point in the pandemic, my like escape plan was to do cats on a catamaran. And have like a sailing YouTube series. Because there's like sailing YouTubes out there where like you learn how to sail and stuff, but there's none where like it's cats teaching you. Where I would just like show the cats and then like do voiceovers for the cats. Um, so probably something. It would depend on if it's like a catamaran or a Catalina. I'd probably try to stick to the ones that have cats in the name,
oh,
just to
that's funny.
make the YouTube channel easier. So.
I would watch that. I would watch Cat teaching me how to sail for sure. Bones John says Mr. Bodie McBoat boat. Yes. Yes.
I
That's a
mean,
good
that's a good
answer.
one too.
Yes. I think you do watch anime, right?
Yes, I do. I
What's your
mean, I watch
favorite?
enough anime that I used to cosplay all the time, so
Did you make
yeah.
your own? You made your own like costumes and everything?
Sometimes I would make the whole costume. Sometimes I would like order parts of it and like make other parts of it. Like one time I made a wig where like the character had like red hair and then white hair, and so like I sewed a wig together, like two wigs, to make the combination wig. Um, so yeah, I can do some things.
That's cool. That's awesome. I do want to learn to like sew on a sewing machine, and make clothes. I know like what was it? Who's this amazing? My brain's not braining. It's an artist. She did Undergrowth.
Oh,
And
Elizabeth Hargrave?
yes, Elizabeth Hargrave was like, we should go to a con and all sew leggings together. I was like, yes, let's do that. I would make my own leggings.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, if you're gonna be in Seattle, like I like for the first fire in the library, I made all the dice bags or like the
oh
bags.
really?
Like a bag is actually really easy because it's just like two or three straight lines. So a straight line is like just let the sewing
Oh,
machine do its thing and it
yeah.
goes straight. So
Unless
it's
you're
easily
you're a wiggler. I'm a wiggler, so I gotta stop being a wiggler. I did make a personalized like custom um window seat cushion. Like I sewed the cover and everything for that on this really small toy sewing machine. So it's just like I mean, it could work. It could work. But I've never
I
done
mean,
any type of
the
clothing.
toy one is probably pretty similar to the like legit ones, and you just ignore all the extra settings.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, which is probably what I would do if I have a legit one. I might ignore all the extra settings. Let's see. Okay. Do you like reality TV?
Not most of it. I do watch the show called Below Deck, which is
Ah,
about living on a boat, where they're like stewardesses and like the deck crew and stuff, and they take people out on like 2 or 3 day like adventures. So you get to see like all the interdynamics of like the deck crew and stuff, and also like they'll go to fun places and they're like in the Caribbean or and all, like there's so many below decks if you're into reality TV shows. Like there's like 5 or 6, and there's like 10 seasons of all of them, and except for Sailing Yacht, I think there's only like 3 seasons of that. But yes, that's like the one that I watch.
and not
Um,
to be confused with Below Decks, the Star Trek animation series.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Lower Decks, which is
That's oh
kind
yeah,
of the
that's true.
same
That's Lower
thing
Deck.
because
Yeah.
it's like all the people that are doing like the grunt work,
Yeah,
but
that's
more
true.
funny.
I don't watch reality TV, but I watch it on YouTube. Like there's this person that is a chef on a yacht, and I'll watch her videos about like how she cooks and prepares things and stuff like that and what they do on a yacht. But I also am like, man, that's a rich person. Like yacht, like yeah, it's like dang.
Yeah, like, well, and if you see like the tips that people get, like the episode that I watched like most recently, they did like a 2 day yacht thing, and like the team got $20,000 as their tip.
Oh my
So like,
god.
yeah. So like, what a lot of like yachties do is they go and they work for like 3 months, and that pays for like the year. Well,
Yeah.
like if they don't like go spend it
Yeah.
like crazy
Exactly.
people, but
Yeah.
so yeah, because like when you're working on a yacht, like you have your room and board and food and toiletries and like all of it.
Agreed. Agreed. Bones John has seen Below Deck. Some interesting. Go on. That's true. Probably. Now, are you also a book reader? I think you are. Do you have a
Yes,
favorite
I read
author?
a lot. That's a hard one because like I read so many books. At one time in my life it was Orson Scott Card, but that was when I was like um I don't know, a teenager. Right now, I don't know. I like Jennifer Armentrout has some good ones.
What's the
Um,
genre?
read a lot of like romance, but like like dystopian romance.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually like more dystopian romance than you would think.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, I can
so
totally see that. Yeah. It's funny because I like with games I think okay, let me know the mechanism so I can decide if I want to play it or not. But like with books I'm like, give me the genre.
Yeah,
But
well,
some
like
people,
you
yeah.
need to know the genre because it could be completely different. And even like within romance, it's like, oh, what kind of romance? Because if it's just like a romance that's like a normal like nowadays thing, it's like I don't want to read a book about like today
Yeah,
things that could just happen. It
yeah.
has to be like sci-fi or fantasy or and it can't just be like regular fantasy romance. It has to have like some weird like, oh, they're spies also, and you
That'd be
know.
cool. That'd be cool. Fantasy spies, doing romance. And there is a difference between like romance in a mystery genre or romance in a sci-fi genre book versus a romance book set in a sci-fi or fantasy setting. Which I
Mhm.
think is it's interesting how they have to um like promote it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bones John says my favorite author is Collins Collins, who wrote the English dictionary. I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Mhm.
Do you like surprises? I actually don't know this one about you.
It depends. A lot of the surprises in my life are just like weird and like deal with this thing. Um like for my birthday, I think it was last year, I was at this convention and I was a special guest and I was like in a room full of the special guests and the host like got me a cake and sang happy birthday and nobody knew who I was, so like the name like they just didn't say it, and it was
Oh,
like, cool, this is a surprise, how do I react to like nobody knowing my name, and like also you just gave me a full cake, am I supposed to eat the full cake right here? There's no way to take this full cake away. And like at the same time, like I think Justin, who like works with me in my
yeah.
company, like he was sitting next to me and he knows me and he was just laughing. He was
Oh,
full on, like he knew how awkward I felt, and just to be like, oh yeah, he's like full on not helping, just laughing at me because like I don't know what to do. Like, do you then just eat the whole cake? And like, what? Like, and then I was like, can I take this back? And they're like, no, you can't take the plates. And it's like, what?
oh dear.
Like,
By the way, Justin is the one that's gonna be the in the booth. If you go to a Weird Giraffe booth, it's most likely Justin who set everything up and is running the booth so that Carla can run around and do more fun stuff. So
yeah, or just meetings. I have so
yes,
many meetings
that's true.
usually, so.
Yeah.
Yes. If it was a good surprise where I didn't have to be like, okay, keep my face straight, don't react in a weird way. Like, but like that's generally like how I do it. Like I just don't know how to react like a proper human, and I'll say something weird and then they get weird and it's just like, okay, I ruined it. I'm sorry that I didn't know that I was supposed to eat the whole cake. There was a 7-course meal and then nobody told me that I had to eat a cake afterwards. It
Oh
was
my
just like,
goodness, that's crazy.
yeah,
But
at that
yeah.
same dinner, like we was supposed to be formal, and I read that and I was like, yeah, the dinner is formal because like I wear t-shirts at conventions. I don't like that's all I had packed. I didn't know
Yeah.
it was like a formal thing. So like on top of everything else, like everyone else is wearing like super fancy clothes and dresses and stuff. And I'm just in like my jeans and my t-shirt, and also now all the attention is on me.
Oh no.
Just like, okay, cool, everyone, this is happening, and no one knows me, but now they do, kinda.
I'm glad
It's
you can
fine.
laugh about it now, though.
Oh yeah, like that's my life. If I can't laugh about it, I'd probably like cry or something, but it's
Yeah.
fine. I'm like the main character, so like ridiculous stuff has to.
We're gonna go for about another 5 minutes. So, if you're lurking or you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I have 3 more cards to go. So, do you prefer gymnastics or yoga or Pilates?
Yoga. Like
Yoga.
actually, like I used to do a lot of yoga. I would like to do gymnastics. I just like I mean, I never signed up as a child. Like that would be really cool if I could do those things, but I don't have like high hopes. I could do them in like even if you give me like 3 years, could I still like do the basic gymnastics? I don't know.
You could. I think you could. You would become limber enough. After 3 years, yeah, yeah. But it's funny because I always see those actors and actresses that like do a hardcore like 6 week or 3 month course of like fight and training or stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, I don't know if I could do that, or riding or something like that. I'm like, but that would be fun if you just learn
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
wish
that.
I had time for like 6 weeks where it's just like learn this skill and do it like 8 hours a day, and then you're like basically like you have like 5 years of like regular classes down.
Yeah, no, I agree, Hello, Kima, how are you doing? Okay, so this one's interesting. What scares you?
Um, a lot of things like blood. Blood is like one of the
Needles?
big ones. Where
Mm-hmm.
like so if anyone's like at a convention and you're bleeding, please do not come to my booth. Like I am begging you, please do not. Like this happens like more frequently than you think. Where like
Really?
we at the booth and people come and be like, I'm bleeding, I need help, and I'm like, oh gosh, and I start like I have to like lay on the floor or something because they're
Oh
like
my
bleeding
gosh.
everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
like please leave here so I can like get up and like be a
Oh
normal
my.
human. And like yeah, it's I don't know. Well, again with the main character thing, like I've had to like deal with like random children, and it's like the children need its mother. What do we do now? And people are bleeding, so we usually have like something to deal with that. But yeah, that's one of my more like generic scares. I'm also not good about insects and stuff like that or heights. Um, yeah,
Yeah. No, but those are like, I mean, legitimate. Like, of course, I also am afraid of needles and heights and stuff like that. Which was why I was surprised I could zip line. I love zip lining, but I'm afraid of heights. I don't know why. It's just weird. Like even walking downstairs, I get scared sometimes.
yeah, like I was known to be like the person that fell down like every flight of stairs that I walked on, but also that was apparently narcolepsy, so
Mm.
I'm super clumsy. But I do like roller coasters, so
Oh, but you're
there's
strapped in as well, so
yeah.
maybe that's a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, uh, have you ever had a cavity? I feel like everyone has had
Yeah,
a cavity.
everyone should have probably had a cavity.
If you haven't, you should. No, I'm just kidding.
It's probably that you didn't go to the dentist because, like, well, dentists are so weird where if you go to like three different dentists, they'll probably tell you like three different things. Like, they
Really?
might be similar, but they'll be different.
Hmm.
So, I
Hmm.
mean, it's like, I mean, doctors are also like an art and not a science. Well, kind of a science, but
That's also
it's like,
art.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
more like nuance to it than a lot of people think, I think.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. Also, doctors are the worst patients ever. Even though they know better and they know what to do, they just don't want to do it.
Mhm.
Okay, one last question is do you sing in the shower? And if you do, what is your song of choice?
Not usually. I do listen to music in the shower sometimes, but I don't normally sing. I
Okay.
like sing if we're driving,
Oh,
but
carpool karaoke? Yes.
yeah, like we actually just got a Tesla that has like the actual like karaoke in it, and that's like super fun.
How
Where it has like all
fun.
the words and stuff on it. Um,
So
but yeah,
what's your song of choice for karaoke, either car or not?
usually like something Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Like that's usually pretty easy to like sing to.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, absolutely. Kima says, I'm alright. Saw you were on VGG homepage with a playthrough of Rock Hard 1977. Yes, I was lucky enough to be asked by Lincoln and Nikki to join them and Dave to do a playthrough. Also, hi Carla, says Kima. Big fan of Weird Draft games. I own a lot of the games. My fave is Studies in Sorcery. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy.
Awesome. And if you don't know, Kima, there is a Kickstarter out right now. Wait, that's not it. That's not the right link. Um, for
Reef
say
and
the name.
Ruins.
Reef and
Reef and Ruins.
Ruins. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. The brain farted. Do a little spiel one more time for everybody who wasn't here in the beginning.
Sure. Reef and Ruins, it's an approachable yet crunchy roll and write where you are hydras and honors and you are searching ruins to get treasure and then enchanting them to increase their value and also like doing spatial puzzles in the reef. There are three sheets that all like kind of work together to combo. and it can play as many players as you like. And it also plays like on streams well, because like you just need to all look at the same dice, and then you can do your thing on your sheet.
That's awesome. And we're going to end it here. Thank you so much, Carla. Was besides plugging Reef and Runes, which everyone should go check out, currently on Kickstarter, what other things do you have going on?
I have a Discord at weirddraftgames.com/discord where you can like see all the new stuff that's coming out and like get feedback. Like I'll put art and stuff in there, graphic design things, or all those. Like if you ever want to give feedback or talk about board games, or like we also have a pretty busy like mental health and productivity channels. Because like I always like to talk about mental health because like if we talk about it, we can all get better. And like there's been so many people that have like discovered that they have like all these things like just being neurodivergent is more common than we used to think. So
Absolutely.
I mean
Absolutely.
it's nice to like talk about that and know that you're not alone.
Yes.
But yeah, so the Kickstarter and the Discord. I have a website at weirddraftgames.com. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Blue Sky, either at Weird Drafts or Weird Draft Games.
Awesome. Kima says that's so fun. When you're at a higher player count, sometimes you feel like, oh gosh, what are we going to play? Yes, absolutely. Yes. So, are you doing any other streams for Reef and Ruins or Weird Draft Games?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be streaming with Dina Says So on Tuesday. Um,
Awesome.
but yeah, we'll see
That's
what else comes up because like sometimes things just come up.
yeah, and maybe I can
Oh
we could do the game on this stream. This channel, I
yeah,
should say.
that would
Yeah.
be super fun.
Awesome. Yeah, so I put all the links into the chat. Please go check that out. Kima says I played Dreams of Yesterday on my vacation last month. Yes. Nice little card game. Beautiful. Definitely glad you got it. For me, today is Thursday, so tomorrow at noon Pacific, Phantom Meeple and I are going to play Windmill Valley, a lighter board and dice game, but it's going to be a big one, so I gotta clean off my table, which is currently very, very
Yeah,
messy, in order
yeah,
to
it's
get
a
that
good
one.
one though.
Yeah, it's a really
Um,
good one, absolutely.
I
And
mean, who doesn't like tulips and Dutch things?
I know, and I love how like the little rondelles or the little wheels change on how you can see what what you get to do and stuff like that. I have just forgotten what's happening on Sunday. But on Sunday I will also oh yes, I remember now. This Sunday is Tabletop Live Network, but also Tabletop After Dark. I will be doing the Tabletop After Dark Marathon. Jackie Fox and Rodney Smith from Watch It Plays joining me. And we're going to be playing Word Traveler and Just One with the chat. So Word Traveler is on VGA. We're going to do that as a co-op to see if Rodney really is the hidden traitor. And we're going to play Just One with the chat. So please join us for that. It's also on VGA. But yes. So thank you once again to Carla. We're going to raid into Dungeons and Dimples, which is a fun streamer from the UK who does solo games. She's currently doing Spirit Island, which is a very fun co-op. And then we're gonna do raid commands into the chat, so please use those and give a lot of love to Dungeons and Dimples when we raid on over. Kiva says, not the crew again. Yeah, it's one of the clips where Rodney is like, basically did not pick on the right card for the crew, even though he knew what it was, and he just forgot. So we'll see what happens. It's always fun, hanging out with those two silly people and playing games. So I hope you'll join us for that. That is Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific. So get multiple streams open and multiple tabs. I have way too many tabs, y'all, but it's how I like things done. Oh my gosh. Okay. Once again, thank you to Carla and Word Draft for joining us. Go check out Reef and Ruins, currently on Kickstarter, and check out all the other games in the collection. Wicked and Wise is a very fun trick-taking game, and there's an expansion for it, so go check that out as well. Thank you, Carla. Have a good day,
Yep.
everybody. Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.